is up? Ooh, you gotta give him the smolder. After a hot soundtrack like that, gotta keep it ice cold. Welcome, everyone. You're tuned into the Barracks, rapid response intelligence by the people for the people. We are coming at you with the latest and greatest off of the motherland, the continent of Africa today. But before we get into the news, we got some introductions to make. Below me, he was voted most likely to get abducted by aliens in high school. He's your friendly neighborhood milkman. How you doing, Milk?
I'm doing all right. Shout out to test3.wav, certified AI banger.
Yeah, and a true postmodern classic for this cyberpunk age. We will all be post-human pervert degenerates with the best soundtrack.
Piped right into the pod.
And to my left, you know him, you love him. Coming onto the stream today looking like a Caucasian Rick Ross, it's the Yankee Tanky.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have important news to tell you. We are under attack here at the barracks. We are under attack, but it will not mean that we will lay down and accept the wreckers, accept the feds, accept those who are trying to destroy our army.
Well put. Because we got, for our little palate cleanser, we're just trying to keep the people updated of the drama going on behind the scenes. Oh, before that, yeah, my name is Teray of Hard Targets, the moderator of our internet Avengers, of our Minutemen assembly here. But yeah, as Yankee Tanky alluded to, the barracks is under attack, y'all. We don't just have secret federal agents distributing our channel in WhatsApp chats in the Pentagon, most likely. No proof of this yet. But it was
I don't know what else it could have been.
We don't know what else it could have been. It had to have been that. We don't just have spy networks distributing propaganda in the recesses of the Twitter DMs, but now corporate America itself has come to crack down on the barracks, on your three favorite streamers. Specifically, the YouTube censorship machine has cracked down on the Yankee Tanky's YouTube channel. So since you were personally involved, Yankee, on your home base, tell the people what's going on.
Well, this morning I went into YouTube to play my normal music as I normally do before I get ready in the morning. And all of a sudden, I have a notification that tells me, you need to go and check out what happens on your last stream. So I go and I check out this notification, and it turns out that due to a certain topic that we talked about last stream, we got ourselves a fucking strike on this YouTube channel here at the Yankee. And let me tell you, we did everything in our power within the given context of what we said to make sure that the YouTube algorithm gods knew that we believe everything that the CDC tells us. And we were just simply reporting on the
Uh-oh.
It's happening again,
new
y'all.
plans for
Globalists coming for Yankees internet connection.
It's so wild that 3 years after a certain 3-letter organization declares a certain unnameable plague to be a worldwide disaster, and then earlier this year this certain three-letter organization declares a certain plague no longer a global emergency, you still cannot be saying the names of Miss Rona out loud. Mademoiselle, Mademoiselle Rona.
Yeah, but I mean that was the point, wasn't it? Okay, so first of all, vaccines are safe and effective. The elections are unimpeachable.
Wow.
Lee Harvey Oswald did 9/11. You know, but that said,
Rigmarole.
free speech on like YouTube and on these apps, that's really just the tertiary conversation, because what people aren't talking about is that right now Charles Lieber of Harvard University is being charged by the Department of Justice for making fictitious and false statements. And this is on the Department of Justice website. He was arrested in 2020 on some he's accused of some sort of conspiracy with Chinese nationals. But that's not what he's being charged for, making fictitious, false, and misleading statements. At the same time, that Uhuru raid, the ASP, are being charged with spreading Russian propaganda. This is also right up on the Department of Justice website. It's right out in the open. The First Amendment is being destroyed right in front of our eyes. So, getting banned off of YouTube is going to be the least of it if we don't take our damn country back.
Which is a reminder, as always, you got to make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Yankee Tanky's YouTube channel. Go give him a follow. Go give his video a like. If you are the one person watching on my YouTube channel, make sure to like and subscribe on there. Most importantly, you should go to the Barracks Twitter page, where Elon Musk has given us a bit more wiggle room. The X, Lords, I forgot. It's rebranded. So you can go and follow us there at the Barracks Live. Because for now, Elon Musk is a benevolent dictator and given the small folk a bit more wiggle room in terms of what we can or cannot say for now.
Yeah, we're still going to dunk on him today, though, aren't we?
Yeah, depending on what continent you're on, you can say what you want to say. Not if you're African, you can't.
Yeah.
All right, it looks like Yankee Tanky is broken free of the jump out van.
For now, I have no idea what was going on.
I'm pretty sure Wi-Fi all over the continental United States is just going to shut off one day, not from any sort of cyber attack, just because we will have decayed, the infrastructure will have just snapped to its limit, and we'll all just be going back to using telegraphs and carrier pigeons. Prepare for it. But that was a little update on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, I thought we might have a little more wiggle room just because we have so few viewers, and, like, we've only been doing this for, like, a week, but nah, they have zero tolerance policy, apparently. And it's not just that, like, the amount of weird, glowy shit that's been going on Twitter, it's really crazy. I mean, just for little old me, like, how many viewers we got right now? But they got a zero tolerance policy for dissent. If you're going to talk about certain forbidden topics, it does not matter how many viewers you have. You're going to have people on your ass. So, oh man, we lost Yankee. All right, we might have to carry it us two for a bit.
No worries. Because this leads us to our topic of the day. We are going to be discussing Julius Malema of the South African EFF party, the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, that was founded in 2013. Julius Malema was the former head of the ANC.
I don't think he was the head.
The ANC Youth Wing.
Yeah. And he got kicked out.
For being too extreme, for what
people are complaining about today, the same exact thing.
For telling it like it is.
The old story.
For being against planter class landlords, for being against the African equivalent of plantation antebellum slave owners.
But it's kind of song. It's like if that, you know, that like Union fight song. It's like, I'm going down south to the land of traitors, rattlesnakes and alligators. It's like that. It's like if you sang that and people were getting all butthurt. Like I don't know, man. It's just like people are so fragile. But I gotta say, everyone's saying, like, there are some crazy tweets, which I don't know if we're gonna go over, but people have been
I
melting
have
down
the video pulled up. I have the video pulled up of Julius Malema playing the "Kill the Boars" song, and
all right, we should probably watch. We should probably play the video first.
with Elon Musk's. He was reacting to a couple of things happening in South Africa. He was like really he was really seething today.
I want to send you a tweet that was really damn ridiculous.
Yeah, send it to me. So this is the tweet in question that's got wignets all over the West who don't even live in South Africa. That's got them all in a tizzy. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a song "Kill the Boars" that apparently Julius Malema has been singing for like a decade, but only now after a certain coup in Niger do people want to bring it up again. So funny timing that. But here's the song.
Kichi Kichi Kichima Chimran Konto Alliance Shoot to kill Kamaza Kill the poor the farmer Kill the poor the farmer Brr pa pa Brr pa pa Attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed a literal genocide.
Violence. There's violence, and then there's words. There's there's the picking up of actual guns and storming villages and townsfolk for vicious pogroms, and then there's the audacity to sing a very scary song.
Well, the words of AOC.
If you're a liberal,
words of violence.
If you're a liberal, what you just saw might have took 10 years off your life. So you might want to sit down, get your herbal tea, bring your heart rate down, whatever you need, because you just had violence done against you. Words are violence.
Yeah, no, but there is kind of a weird horseshoe theory going on where, like, on the one hand, misgendering is violence, and then on the other hand, a political leader across the ocean in a country you have no connection to singing a song is also violence. And they're both literally genocide. And, dude, I'm getting so sick of genocides, man. Like, the Uyghurs are being genocided, and then the Kurds are being genocided, and then the Ukrainians and the
crackers in
transgenders
South Africa are being genocided.
and white genocide. It's just nonstop, man. I wish there was a way to be like pro-genocide. So when people say that, I'm just like, oh, I'm pro-genocide. That's good. I'm glad
there's a nice little compromise that I've been on since 2020, and that's being pro-coup. The coup in Myanmar, the coup in Niger, the coup in, I feel like there was I think, what is it, Mali? Yeah, I think it was the coup in Mali. But
there's a conundrum. Because, there's the whole Ukraine thing, and, that's complicated.
Oh, yeah, not universally pro-coup. But but every now and again, you get a hunger for the genre of coup. You wanna tune in to Twitter one day and you wanna see, like, man, I wish there was a good coup. And the past couple of years had seen some very good coups.
It's not enough. Like, you gotta be pro-genocide. You gotta be genocide master. I'm gonna put it.
Yo, we're trying to get another YouTube strike.
I'm sick of getting my feet wet.
Yeah. someone's gonna be like, "Oh, dude, this ethnic minority in a country the State Department wants to bomb is getting genocide." I'll just be like, "Word, we need more genocide. We got to genocide the NGOs. We got to genocide big pharma. We got to genocide the deep state. Genocide the fucking lying media that has cheapened the word to the point of meaninglessness."
Yeah, because you mentioned and part of this like obsession with using the word genocide is because people like, who is this? I don't even know who Benny Johnson is.
Oh, this is a really dumb tweet. I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, New York Times. Okay.
New York Times. Yeah, all right.
That makes sense. New York Times. Okay.
This is one of the dumbest tweets I've seen in a while.
CIA. He is front page news for the CIA. That makes sense. So part of the reason that we get this word genocide thrown around all the time by front page news for the CIA, that is what the New York Times is because, like you said with horseshoe theory, like comparing South African liberation from European, like 100 years of European devastation by the hands of the planter class, comparing that to critical race theory.
No,
this is American critical race theory is to blame for South Africa, a totally different country that is 95% black.
Yeah, one day you have Robin DiAngelo, the next day you have Julius Malema 1,000 miles away. It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope. One day you have Sesame Street singing alphabet songs about how it's good to be brown, and then the next 1,000 miles away, people are committing white genocide. That's the butterfly effect.
Yeah, but also like it's completely backwards because he actually got convicted of hate speech in 2011 for singing this song, like in a court, which is, I mean, seems like a right winger, so he's probably against that sort of thing, and it's being like relitigated now. And it's going viral now, obviously because of what's going on in Niger and Burkina Faso, right? Like, there's no other reason for this to be going viral right now. He does this all the time. And then, and here's Elon, baby.
Here's Elon ratioing Benny Johnson to try.
Benny Johnson wasn't hysterical enough.
Getting twice as many likes. More retweets just for the call of foreign intervention in South Africa, as if the United States wasn't already intervening in enough African countries. Now Elon Musk is calling for an intervention by Cyril Ramaphosa, the current president of South Africa, head of the ANC. For those who are not familiar, for those who aren't familiar, the ANC was Nelson Mandela's party. Piss on that guy's grave, by the way. The ANC, which started out as an actual revolutionary formation, eventually headed by Nelson Mandela, who at the 11th hour, when he was sworn in as president, handed over the diamond and gold mines to all the same Boers who are the subject of our song today. So fuck that guy.
Isn't this the same as like if someone posted like a spicy transgender meme and they tagged like head of like director of security or whatever and said it was literally a genocide? Like, well, I mean, I'm pro genocide, so I guess it doesn't bother me. It's good. More. Well, I just was just thinking, like, I was watching people get so butthurt about this all over the app, and it's like, I'm white. Am I supposed to be offended by this? Like, I'm not a Boer. I've never met a Boer in my life, except, I mean, Elon Musk, I guess. So, like, it's just, like, it's this weird, like, one-to-one, the race relations in the U.S. are, like, one-to-one to South Africa, even though these people don't know shit about this country. And, like, apartheid was, like, a big deal in the news not that long ago, South African apartheid and, like, the whole boycott thing. But now, a few decades later, it's critical race theory. This is just Ibram X. Kendi in a funny hat, and it's really like the right wing seems to not be able to escape this like globalist framing of like the world is flat. What applies here applies everywhere. There's no different poles. There's no different civilizations, and they're acting like he's a Democratic candidate for president. And
yeah, it's so funny that they flatten both critical race theory and this sort of Black Lives Matter Democrat politics of the United States and the liberation politics of Black Africans, who are the majority of South Africa and obviously the African continent, that they flatten the two things as if they were bred from the same institutions. Like, one was bred by the Democratic Party and the State Department, BLM. It was just a Democratic funnel. But EFF was born out of the frustration of the youth wing of the ANC for being a sellout party, ever since Nelson Mandela headed it. And actually wanting the majority of their country, the people who have lived there, worked there, and not just for the past 100 years, but for like thousands of years, who just wants to be able to develop their own industries and not have to suffer living in slums because De Beers Diamond Company doesn't want to invest in any infrastructure. Like, just flattening those two things, when in reality, what we're actually seeing is this real horseshoe curve between the liberal New York Times and degenerate right-wing Bronze Age wignats on Twitter.
Yeah, true. I didn't actually realize that I thought the Benny Johnson guy was like a wignat account. I didn't realize he was New York Times. They are saying the same thing.
These degenerate right wingers on Twitter, and even and even on other on other platforms, are just taking the word of the New York Times at face value. Yes, you are experiencing white genocide. The New York Times, which demonized this like white genocide conspiracy theory just a couple of years ago. Like, they're willing to throw a bone to these people when it's happening in a country that they're interested in invading. White genocide is fake in America, but in South Africa, it's real. It's real, and you need to make sure to vote us into power when we decide to invade South Africa. When Elon Musk does what he did to South Africa, what he did to Bolivia. Remember that?
Oh yeah, we'll coup whoever we want.
Yeah.
2019 was not too long ago.
That was right before Elon bought Twitter.
Does he still have a lot of influence in South Africa? Like, he's tagging this guy who looks he just looks like I don't know who this guy is, but he looks like a cop just based on initial impressions. And like, he's not is he? What's his deal? What's his stance on Ukraine? I wonder, because Malema is extremely based on that. He sides with Putin 100%. I wonder what this guy's take is. But I want to address something. If you guys will give me a minute. Like, the fact that I'm supposed to immediately identify with Boers who, like, if I heard someone speaking Afrikaans, I would probably think they were a space alien. Like, I don't have anything in common with a white South African, but I'm supposed to see Julius Malema saying "kill the Boer" and think, oh, he's talking about me. Like, no, he's not talking about me. But like, the thing is with these wignats is like, there's a lot of like posturing and pseudo-intellectualism to disguise the fact that like it is just about skin color. It is just light skin good, dark skin bad, and there's a lot of obfuscation, but it really doesn't go deeper than that. And it's like, dude, that's like a dog's analysis of human society, or like a chicken or something. It's like color association. It's like, you really don't think it goes any deeper than that? Like, there's nothing deeper to understand. And
I might even
about it.
I might even one up you here, Milk. I'm gonna say it. I think these people have a sexual fetish. I'm just gonna be 100% honest.
You think I wasn't going to tie this into boner socialism? You think I wasn't going to do that? Dude, I want to... Absolutely. They're all on... Dude, black.com is porn for racists, okay? The first cuckolds were plantation owners who were having their slaves bang their white wives in front of them. That's what it is. It absolutely is. Let me Let me read you something. So I pulled up a case study, which is this guy named J. Philip Rushton, who was like an IQ academic guy. Okay. And one of his hypotheses was that genital size was inversely proportionate to intelligence. So, like, it's not really hard to figure out what's going on there. But let me read you from this abstract. This is a official paper, okay, published in the Journal of Research and Personality by J. Philip Rushton. And this guy was cited. This guy was cited in the bell curve. So this is the academic rigor that is required if you're pushing this narrative. Okay, and I quote: the black men had larger penises at a different angle of erection and maintained intermission longer, while the women had shorter menstrual cycles, more periodicity of sexual response, and a greater number of orgasms per act of coitus. Whites varied their sexual activity more, both with spouses and with prostitutes, although blacks consorted with prostitutes more frequently. Finally, blacks had a shorter duration of marriage and more permissive sexual attitudes. Yeah, it's boner socialism, dude. Like, what is this study? He got paid to do this? To, like, go ask people about the periodicity of sexual response? It's like, man, we all got weird sex stuff, but we don't have to pretend it's like a discipline, like a study. But
the number of societal problems affecting the world today could have been addressed if we just admitted that there's a large fraction of the population that has a porn addiction.
Oh yeah. Oh, sometimes they tell on themselves. I've seen this before. I've seen them post like, well, what is this Jewish agenda on Pornhub? It's only showing me interracial porn. It's like, like, you know, that shit's personalized, right? Like, not everyone's Pornhub looks like that.
Anyway, that's like when those right wingers complain about how their TikTok feed is all full of titties. And don't get me wrong, there is some truth to it that, you know, it doesn't take too many scrolls before you see titties, and if you keep, you know, continuing to watch it, it's going to show up. But let's also be real. You know, these right wingers that are complaining about a lot of this stuff, a lot of them also, to be fair, as anti-woke as they pretend to be, are degenerates themselves participating in this LGBTQ bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's just repressed. But yeah, this is actually a Basil take. I'm gonna pull this up for a second because this is a take for the ages. But someone else go for a minute.
Yeah, and drop me the links in the chat. I can pull them up. Let me know when you do.
Oh, do you want the link to this abstract? I mean, I kind of.
Oh, is it another study?
No, that it's the same study. I'm sure I could find more, dude. Like little known fact, academia.
My Pornhub algorithm.
Little known fact, academia is super degenerate. Like, they have no, a lot of them do shit. I'm not gonna say they all do shit like this. A lot of them do, especially in the social studies, quote unquote. Like, what kind of person becomes a sexologist? What kind of person wants to go study sex? A pervert, right? Normal people aren't gonna want to go do that. And the people who are gonna want to go study like race and IQ, it's cuckold fantasy. It's like they want the dumb black brute to bang their wife. Yeah, it's sick. But I just can't stand how, like, smug they are too. Like, and so condescending. It's like, oh, you don't realize that there's nothing more than skin color that defines the world.
But I understand. I mean, I sort of understand someone like Elon Musk, who, you know, this is where he was born, and this is where he spent, you know, a couple of years in his early life. Maybe he even still has family there. I don't know the guy. So there is some connection to be made of some emotional connection to be made, you know, when you see a group of Africans chanting "Kill the Boer." It's still stupid because he's an American citizen and he lives here and all of his businesses are here. So if he has any sort of anxiety about this happening in South Africa, that sort of screams dual allegiance to me,
Good
which,
point.
uh, which I'm not cool with. I'm not cool with it when these, me coming from Miami, I'm not cool with it when these broke ass gusanos, all the dads of my friends, who haven't done anything for anybody and who came to the United States when they were like 12, are saying like, we ought to bomb Cuba, we ought to go over there and just invade the place. It's like, I hate it when they do it. So why are we allowing the richest man on the planet to openly announce his dual allegiance by like trying to openly tag the president of the ANC of South Africa? And so I brought this tweet up. This is another
This is
like
outstanding.
libertarian.
Yeah, I know this account, but like, look at what he's doing. He's doing mainstream media spin. Wait,
Yeah.
scroll back up. He says,
He does that thing that he does where he posts 2 exclamation points to show that his investment in the story here, which
look what he's saying. He says this came 24 hours after EFF leader Julius Malema. This is a mainstream media thing. This is what they do. They'll be like, oh, the shooting in Buffalo comes after Tucker Carlson promoted on. It's just like a bullshit link based on nothing. Like, that's the thing.
South Africa, one of Africa's most populous countries and its largest economy.
Everything in the world came after he did that.
Had a murder. Yeah. A murder happened 300 miles that way.
Yeah.
And then the network of African spies killed this sweet old, definitely not slave owner couple.
Okay. I mean, obviously, elephant in the room. What is going on with that facial hair? But I'm not gonna slander the dead. Okay. Yeah, but there's a type of right winger which really bothers me, and I think most, if not all, wingbats fit in this category, where they don't actually want to like change or overthrow anything. They're just butthurt that they're not the ones in power, and that's what this tweet screams to me. Like, he doesn't have any problem with this bullshit spin. This came after, like, yeah, I mean, everything comes after everything. What does that mean? That's a classic mainstream media spin tactic. They do that all the time. So he doesn't actually have a problem with this lying that they do. He's just mad that it's not his idea. Like, he says end wokeness, but the problem's not, like, the only problem he has with wokeness is that he's not at the top of the pyramid, and that's where this pipeline comes from, where right wingers are like, oh wait, if I transition and adopt all these talking points, I can climb the ladder. And there are a lot of based right wingers who don't think this way. Well, this is why boner socialism is so important. I'm telling you. But there's a lot of them who just are mad that, like, show me a wignat and I'll show you a chance to join the ruling class that they blew, a chance to become like a journalist or a finance bro or an academia that they blew, and that's why I'm telling you, once you start looking for this, you'll see it a lot.
No, you're right that it's just them wanting to be at the top. They're projecting their own anxieties and their own power fantasies onto these random events, stringing them together to play up this persecution narrative.
Oh yeah,
that's why we need to be very skeptical about anyone who, calls themselves. That you shouldn't automatically ally yourself with someone who calls himself an anti-capitalist, with someone who calls himself a dissident, someone who calls himself against the matrix, because in a very material way, chattel slavery is anti-capitalist, feudalism is anti-capitalist, like all of the other god-awful modes of production that were some of the most miserable conditions for people to live in were anti-capitalism. And so you cannot just automatically think that someone is on your side in these culture war conservative accounts, and I'll say, yeah, that's really what they are. Is just focusing on the culture war. These culture war conservatives will always, when it comes down to the material struggle for who owns, the machines, who runs the economy, they will always side with the lowest common denominator of political leader, the degrowth tech sellouts like Ron DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy, or they will side with messianic apocalypse apocalypse lords like Nick Fuentes. And I do legitimately love Nick Fuentes. He has a very finely tuned political acumen, especially for American politics. But in terms of, and this is what we were saying the other day, if you do not have an eye for the key contradiction, which is imperialism, you will always be missing the mark when it comes to how to resolve large problems, like how to industrialize the United States. He was pulling up on his Telegram, talking about Niger, and like why do we fund these people? Like why? And so we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I also like.
They're just totally disconnected from the material reality, from the material facts, and having to just pin random things together to assert their narrative. And then as soon as anything comes along that gives them political power, they'll just side with the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I also like Nick, but he's the only one who can defend these positions at all. For most of them, they always complain about getting censored, but they want to be censored, because even when they're on Rumble or in a private Discord call, they still talk in this weird oh, dem boys, or the individuals. They won't say what they actually believe with their chest, even with so they like being censored because it means they don't actually need to defend their positions, And Nick's not like that, but most of them are like that, and a lot of his audience is like that.
Right, he has not reproduced himself at all.
Right. He hasn't.
Well, I mean, the reason why Nick Fuentes hasn't been able to reproduce himself is because, frankly, while he might be able to explain his ideology and articulate it or whatever, but if he was actually challenged by someone who actually knows, that it's a bunch of bullshit, I guarantee that, Nick Fuentes wouldn't have any ground to stand on, because let's be real, this is a bullshit ideology. White supremacy, anti-Semitism, same kind of deal. We know it's a bullshit ideology. It's not about it, oh, this being offensive, you're being hurtful. I could give a flying fuck. I want everything to be uncensored and all these people to be out in the open. As just like Haas says, right? They need to be out in the open so they can't hide behind, oh, I'm going to get censored or some bullshit. Because we know for a fact, as soon as they start opening their mouth, they're going to be completely wiped out. And that's why, effectively, Nick Fuentes hasn't been able to reproduce himself, because the very core of his ideology is fundamentally wrong.
What I'll say about Nick, first of all, yeah, these people, I think it should all be allowed, because these people rely on censorship, most of them. Because if you actually interrogated it under the sunlight, there's nothing there. With Nick, I think it's very much like a Mott and Bailey sort of deal. Because if you watch his debate with Destiny, he's spitting about the cause, about the Iraq War, and about Israel's influence. Yeah, it's all true, and he's spitting. But then, if you argue with the Groypers, they'll just call you Jewish, which so he's talking about a specific influence groups, and then they're just what? Oh, well, you disagree with me, you must be Jewish. So there's kind of a disconnect there for me. But I don't know. I mean, I don't watch him a lot. Maybe you guys have more insight.
Well, I mean, what I say of Nick Fuentes, yeah, he's correct when he talks about Russia or Iraq, or
He's more anti-imperialist than any leftist.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that. But the core of his ideology is wrong. And frankly, none of the groypers seem to be absorbing almost anything other than just, the JQ, or just being racist, or just being a misogynist, or just being homophobic or transphobic or whatever. Congratulations. You hate people. Now actually believe in something.
Yeah.
Well, he does push Christianity.
Well, yeah, I mean, Christianity, at least that's something actually worth believing in. But most of those groypers, they don't absorb much of that either, frankly.
Most of them like Hitler more than Christ.
And that's the truth.
And that's the problem. Is
Hitler was a pagan, by the way.
They're fundamentally uninterested in actually holding themselves accountable to build political power. It's more anarchism. I mean, I'm sure Nick Fuentes actually wants to build political power. Like, yeah, I take him at his word. And he's at least, as an individual, he is dedicated to like putting people in influential positions. But he's one man. It doesn't matter how smart he is. It doesn't matter even if he was 100% correct, which he's not. But even if he was, he's one man. And that one man cannot run an entire civilization by himself. His inability to reproduce himself means that this wave of groypers are just coming into themselves economic, as workers, as voters, as consumers, and they'll just want anarchy, an anarchic system where they can play out their darkest fantasies, both violent and sexual, or sexually violent, because the majority, like 99% of them, are not interested in holding themselves accountable to even a Catholic political power that Nick Fuentes wants, like a Catholic monarchy. They don't want that structure. They want anarchy, just like leftists like land back leftists. They want anarchy to be able to just play out their subconscious consumer fantasies that they already have.
Yeah. Also, Nick will never talk about the other JQ, which is the Jesuit question. Never hear him talk about that. Yeah, they were talking that they were on Fresh and Fit. They called the object that was mandated, the Jewish object. But Fauci's not Jewish, is he? I did the early life check, and I was assured it worked every time. But
he's Italian.
Yeah, all roads lead to Rome, man.
Roman, huh?
I have a feeling there's a lot of secret Italians in our society, and they're trying to take control of our system. The Italians are after us. The Italians! We must ask the IQ.
The IQ. Well, you could look into Propaganda Due, the lodge behind Gladio, see who was funding that. It was not the Jews.
Oh, you bring up Italians, but that's actually really a really good segue, because I since we're trying to keep it a tight hour today.
Yeah, we're already running out of time.
Yeah. Yep. Just as a segue into Italy, just like because how these European countries want to do this tit for tat thing. They see Africans being liberated, actually taking control over their own economic forces and having their industries build for themselves, kicking out the IMF, kicking out French banks, kicking out the US military, kicking out Britain, and keeping the spoils of their own industry for themselves, and getting rid of all of the forces that are just grooming terrorist organizations. And Italy, like President Maloney in Italy, wants to do this tit for tat game of pulling Italy out of the Belt and Road Initiative. And I'm like, bitch, you don't have the range.
As soon as she posted the anime.
What?
As soon as she posted anime, I knew it was over.
It's so
The day after she got elected.
As soon as they post the anime,
Anime-
you know they're a degenerate.
Anime
It
is the
doesn't matter
banner
if
of
it's left or
motorcycles.
right.
Yeah, like
Unless you're Zolo.
It's this childish fantasy that Europeans, that Europores have been living for the past 2 centuries or more. Since the height of the colonial age, that Europores have been playing out, that by destroying other countries and pillaging other countries and bombing other countries and enforcing a European education system on them, a European cultural hegemony, that they can tell them whatever they want about what European culture is or what it means, and it doesn't. These people can't verify. They're not European. They're Africans. And they have no connection. Even if they could verify, go online or go into a library and verify that all of what they're saying is bullshit. It doesn't matter. They don't live in Europe. So all of these fantasies that are being put oh yeah, Western, these Greek ideals, universal human rights, the philosophical purity of the West that you just haven't caught on to yet because you're so primitive. This bullshit. It's a fantasy, because when you look at Italy right now, look at France right now, look at Britain right now. In Britain, where people are sword fighting each other to death. That version of Europe never existed. It's always been a crap hole. And now that Africa is actually being self-determinate, they have to really... That's the real anxiety here. Not that they're being genocided, but that there was never anything to collapse in the first place. That Europe has always been a shithole. That's the real anxiety. Because if they're being genocided and they're trying to take us out, then they were worth attacking in the first place. But there's nothing there. Italy without China is nothing. It's a sewer.
You're gonna piss off the wingnats with that for sure. I mean, but there is I'm not gonna go historical, but right now there is nothing there. Europe is completely propped up by the U.S. I mean, at Eurovision, Germany wouldn't even wave their own flag; they waved the pride flag instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a void. There's nothing there, and Africa's rising. Europe's not even a continent.
It's going back. That the pride flag is the most European unifying flag because it's back to that pre-Roman pagan living in the woods and having orgies in the woods system that all Europeans had in common before Caesar. Tell me I'm wrong.
Let's just be real. Europeans, they're just historically been a bunch of fucking barbarians.
That's
I love.
That's why America is based while Europe is a country.
Right.
That's very clear.
It doesn't have this problem. If we tie ourselves to Europe like a millstone and just sink to the bottom of the ocean along with Europe, then it's our problem. But we are disconnected from it. We had a whole revolution about it.
I mean, based, yeah. We definitely got to eliminate the Anglo influence in this country, because that's what South Africa is too. It's legacy, well, quote unquote legacy of the British Empire. That's everywhere they go. Everywhere the British go, ethnic conflict follows. That's been true throughout their whole history. It's the divide and conquer empire. They go into India, they find the sheiks or whatever, repressed minority, give a bunch of guns, and then once there's a civil war going on, they take over. And they're doing it in our country now. Okay? The reason people are getting so butthurt about this kill the Boer thing is because, I don't know if you've seen Twitter lately, but it's full of fucking racial, these black people are stealing, these black people shot up a store, and then with the whites you've got, the anti-white stuff is off the charts. It's British influence, race war, That's what it's about. And the only race war we need to be having is against the Anglos.
I'm glad Anglo is becoming a slur now because I was using it back in 2016 to upset Bernie Bros. And it feels good that it's become a thing. That hyperstition is real.
It is that, dude. That's why this country was founded, 1776, and then they burned down the fucking White House in 1812, and now they're our allies. Yeah, something went awry. Something went awry along the way. That England are our fucking closest allies. All right.
I will say to all the Wignats who watch this and are going to be posting hate comments, you, a white American, have more in common with the black Africans in South Africa than you do with the Boers.
Facts.
That's not true for Europe. If you're a European, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you're a monkey. But you a white American, whatever white American means, you have more in common with a black African in South Africa than you do with the Boers. You who work the land, develop this wild country into the greatest nation in history, into the wealthiest country on earth, into a glorious nation with the sweat of your brow, not what's in your bank account. You whose ancestors are the founding stock and put a yoke around the neck of the wild beast that was this continent, have more in common with the Africans who did the same, and not with the Boer monkeys who came onto the African continent to bomb the continent, to start civil wars, to dig up the mines, and then close down the mines when they had a monopoly over all the resources so that the Africans couldn't even have control over their own mines because they were closed and shut down. You see that happening here in America. Shutting down factories that were the pipeline of wealth for the middle class. So any fantasy that you have that you are connected to these Boers is just you playing out the fantasy of being an antebellum slave owner
and making
having some black man fuck your wife.
Yeah, why do you think that Adam 22 guy blew up everywhere? Do you think he would have blown up if it was a white guy who banged his wife? I'm just saying. Just saying. It's all one thing.
And what would that one thing be called, Milkman?
It's boner socialism. Wait, I never pulled up this Basil tweet. This is fire. Hold on. He posts it all the time.
Man, we're coming up on that tight hour, and I'm so pissed because
I could keep going. If any white nationalist wants to debate me about anything I've said, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, we have to take over. Me being pro coup, we have to take over Yankee Tanky's YouTube channel.
Okay, here's the Basil take. Wait, do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah,
just a picture. Can you pull it up if it's just a picture?
I'll have to put it on my Google Docs and then.
Okay, I will give a dramatic reading. I've said it before and I'll say it again. All bourgeois political kayfabe boils down to projected race play fetishes. The degree to which one's own race play fetish is unaddressed is exactly proportional to how openly deranged they are on the timeline. It's all one thing.
And let me tell you, we're gonna bring down the boner socialists. We're gonna bring them down and make them realize that they must give up their degenerate ways.
100%, man. We're getting 7 people in the room here. Make sure to like and subscribe. The people up in YouTube's corporate headquarters can't silence the Yankee Tanky just because a certain 3-letter organization doesn't want us to talk about a certain plague with certain
safe and effective.
That are
safe and effective.
And you got to go and follow the Yankee Tanky. Do it now.
Yeah.
You can follow
Ron Swanson is 100% correct here. I'm just letting you all know. He's absolutely correct.
Yankees got swag today, man. I like that hat.
The rockabilly look. It's coming back in a big
Yeah, I
way.
gotta get a camera. It's I'm the odd man out here.
No,
I'm gonna wear a mask.
it adds to the mystique.
Okay. Do you want to do like
Okay.
closing? Do you want to? Are we doing closing statements?
Yeah, we'll end it on a high note.
I got a closing statement. I've never met Elon Musk because I am but a humble milkman. But I have it on good authority that he once brought a prostitute as a +1 to a formal event. So do with that information what you will.
That's deep lore.
Very deep lore.
Yeah, if I could say one thing to Elon Musk if he were here now, I would have to. I would have to say, you're so brave for battling your Asperger's syndrome, Mr. Musk. But you need to work a little bit harder to overcome it because it slips out like it does today, where you think yourself connected to the Boers in South Africa. You need to really battle your Asperger's. Don't let it overcome you, Elon.
Also,
You're stronger than the Asperger's.
The spirits of whatever live Filipino boys you harvested that hairline from will come back to haunt you.
You'll be like George Bush painting them on a canvas.
they
My message today.
scream in his nightmares.
So what would you say to Elon Musk, Yankee Tanky?
So this is what my message would be for today for Elon Musk. You, sir, have done terrible things for this country, and you've done good things. But the one thing I can say, if you continue to advocate for what you have been advocating for, when we take over America, you will be deported back to South Africa so you can feel what it will happen to you by the African people rising against their terrorists, the Boers that are destroying their country. You will be deported and you will feel their wrath.
Elon, please don't ban me off Twitter.
That's okay. You can't stop the barracks. Go follow us at the barracks live. We are blowing up. We are going to be bringing you that rapid response intelligence you've come to know and love. Kicking it off on a high note. Thank you all for tuning in. Keeping it a tight hour so that Yankee Tanky can get 8 hours of sleep. But me, I don't sleep. I'm going to be up tweeting the rest of the night. That's all we got. We're out.